Congressman Kustoff, let me kick it off with you. Tell us what we should expect, what you want to hear this morning at that Robinhood hearing.
Well, good morning. Certainly a lot of fireworks from the Democratic side of the aisle. And I think we need to set the stage that I think we should applaud in large part what Robinhood was able to do and has been able to do for the last several years. And that is essentially, I think, what we all want, and that is attracting new investors to the market, something that they can do that's affordable. The average Robinhood user is in their 20s and maybe has an account of $5,000 or less. Essentially, they have helped to set the democratization, if you will, of trading. Zero commissions with other brokerages following. And I think we all can applaud that. One thing that I do want to hear today, though, is that with the buying on Robinhood, and remember, of course, part of this hearing is going to focus on the short selling. With Robinhood, as I understand on that platform, you cannot short sell. So these investors who were using Robinhood, those account holders, were having to buy the shares. In other words, not short the shares. But they were shut out from trading for some period of time because of the capital requirements of Robinhood. And I think that the Robinhood founder, and again, I applaud what he's been able to do, but he's going to have to explain how that affected his account holders and what requirements they're trying to take so that doesn't happen to their account holders again.
Yeah, I mean, what happens to the short selling community when you have short squeeze players, individual investors, doing what we've seen for so long happening in the short selling community, right? Hedge funds. Will there be that voice in the room?
Well, there should be. Now, I think there will certainly, on that point, there will be challenges from the Democratic side of the aisle. And I think, as you're pointing out, that is a normal function of the market and has been for a long, long time. And it's interesting, as an aside, these people who were buying the shares of GameStop, obviously, they were beating these big hedge funds for some period of time before GameStop started coming back down to earth somewhat. I'm also interested in hearing the testimony of Keith Patrick Gill, who, of course, was the one of the loudest voices in the room, if you will, or at least on the Reddit platform. His explanations for touting, if you will, GameStop, promoting GameStop. It's really kind of an interesting story when you read his background that he really kind of subscribed to the old Peter Lynch theory, that you buy what you understand and kind of kick the tires a little bit. He talks about, or will talk about today, I believe, the fact that he was a GameStop user, that growing up, he bought the consoles from GameStop, bought the games, that they're the only dedicated retailer specifically for those games and game consoles even today. And he was a real believer in the company. But I do want to hear his testimony and the fact that he was such a big promoter of GameStop on Reddit.
Yeah, for sure. I want to hear all sides there. The point I was making is that we've seen community for years and there wasn't any upset. Why not just let freedom run, let capitalism run, and not put restrictions on that? But we'll be watching that. I want to ask you another issue your committee is dealing with, and that's raising the minimum wage. President Biden is reiterating his support for a $15 an hour increase for the minimum wage during his Tuesday town hall the other night. He could get pushback from the Senate. Democrats Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema have both said that they don't support the raise as part of the final $1.9 trillion stimulus package. There's also a great Wall Street Journal piece today indicating that within that $1.9 trillion package is also a tax increase on businesses. Congressman, you're worried that this increase in the minimum wage could cost your state thousands of jobs, right? 66,000 jobs, according to estimates from the Employment Policies Institute. Make the case, and where is this going in terms of the $15 minimum wage in your view?
Well, to me, that is probably the big issue that the Senate will have to tackle in this stimulus bill. Where we can debate the need for a stimulus. I don't think that we need it, and we certainly don't need it that large when you consider with the other stimulus packages that we voted on last year, there is still almost $1 trillion of money that the federal government that we've designated, that we've appropriated, and it hasn't gone out the door yet. It hasn't filtered through the economy. And I think we need to see that money or some of that money start going through. But as to the $15 an hour minimum wage, not only the loss of jobs in my district, the vast majority of people who have jobs have a job as a result of being employed by a small business. And when I go around, especially my district, and of course I'm not in California, I'm not in New York, we've got a relatively low cost standard of living in West Tennessee, that could kill a lot of small business within my district and around the country. Even at the Congressional Budget Office report that came out last week, that estimated at a minimum, if we had a mandatory $15 an hour minimum wage nationwide, we would lose at least 1.4 million jobs. So it's a job killer, and at a time when the economy is really kind of on tenuous grounds. There's no reason and no justification to raise the minimum wage. And I'd argue that the market, certainly before COVID, was dictating that employers on their own pay higher wages and better benefits, not only to attract employees, but to retain employees.
All right, Congressman, we'll be watching the debate. Great to see you this morning. Thanks very much, Congressman David Kustoff, joining us on the financial